Testing. Check, 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 check. I love a good sound check. Sounds alright, as far as I can tell. Um, Sorry about that. But yeah, shit. Why have I always come to these videos unprepared, as if it's not just my own production, in my own room, with my own gear. A little bit ridiculous, I know. But yeah, I'm gonna wait to introduce myself until after I've prepared it a little bit. I'm just trying to get an opening quote for the episode. Oh, okay, this one's appropriate, as Jean-Luc Godard died very recently, as of filming this video. For those who don't know, Jean-Luc Godard he was a director of French films, he was just a French director of films, most well known for his films made in the 1960s and 70s, like French New Wave stuff. Yeah. Oh, I got so lost in the weeds of talking about him that I forgot to read the quote. So, hi, this is season 3, episode 1 of the Decompression Chamber. I'm Mario, your host. Thank you very much for being here. And yeah, our opening quote today is going to be from Jean-Luc Godard. And he said, "Sometime reality is too complex. Stories give it form." Roll the intro.
Run at the meat and my steamer is broke. Fuck the bleach, I'm peak of the soul. Peace never know what's about to occur, but my zen getting rolled at the turn of your words. Run at the meat and my steamer is broke. Fuck the bleach, I'm peak of the soul. Peace never know what's about.
Yeah, so since I haven't done one of these in so goddamn long, I thought, yeah, time to start a new season. I'm in a new house, new digs, in a student house for the first time in my life, which is pretty fun. I wouldn't say that my experience being in halls was bad, but you go there 2 years and you don't want to go back a third, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, so I thought I'd start a new season just because I feel like I'm in a new stage of life. It may not be altogether massive, but this is the end game now. This is the last year that I'll ever be a student, at least from what I can tell. A student in the way that I am now, you know. And it's daunting, and it's exciting, and there's lots of possibility and opportunity, and I think that's why the start of the year, start of the academic year, it feels like the start of the year anyway to me, is always so daunting. I've oftentimes in transition periods in my life, I feel a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress, and that's just natural. It's part of the process, and maybe I'm receptive to that, to my own anxiety more so than others, or maybe I just think about it a lot. But at transition stages of my life, I deal a lot with anxiety, and that's because I don't know what's going to happen, and that's not always easy for me to deal with. So, the whole lead up to moving into this house, even as much fun and relaxation as I've been able to have, was quite stressful to me, just because I didn't know what was on the other side. Even if it seemed like it was going to be something pleasant, I still had that nervousness, that kind of negative anticipation, despite the fact that I had a lot of positive anticipation as well. I'm not sure whether that makes sense, but I'm just relaying my experiences, as is the show. But yeah, so to catch you guys up, I'm sure in the intro I threw some clips from my summer. Had a really good summer, spending time with the family in Spain and France, and got to go to France with with some friends from uni, and that was really nice. Got into loads of sports docu-series. Couldn't tell you why, but I could tell you why actually. My younger brother, shout out Diego, I'm not sure whether he watches these, but he got into basketball through the docu-series about Michael Jordan, The Last Dance, and he'd always badger me to watch it. And there's something weird in my brain that when somebody recommends something to me that I know I'm going to like, instantaneously I go, fuck that, I'm not going to watch that. Why are you fucking telling me to watch that? I don't want to. I don't know, it's just a weird instinct that I have. And so for a long time, I didn't watch it. But when I got round to watching it, it was spectacular. I loved it. It was amazing. And There's another docuseries on Netflix called Last Chance U Basketball, which is about like junior college in America, in the United States, should I say, where kind of athletes who weren't successful in other like college programs end up in that school to kind of get a last chance. And so it's a bunch of these different like poorly behaved or like, you know, people who came across bad circumstance, like students, but they're also prime athletes, and they're also like fighting for their last chance to have a major success in their sporting career. And it's a really good docuseries from my experience, you know. And then I watched the Last Chance U Netflix documentary, which is just about American football, which I'm not even into as much as a sport, but the docuseries kind of got me interested in it. Very similarly with like the Drive to Survive show. And I'm very intent on rewatching the Senna documentary, which is about, a racing driver who tragically died in a car crash during one of his races. But he was a really spectacular racer, like multiple-time world champion. And I don't know why, just sports documentaries, they're it for me, you know. Maybe just sports movies in general, now that I think about it, you know. I think there's just something so visceral, and maybe I think it's something that I might feel like I've been missing for the last while, you know. I mean, all throughout my life, I played football, and that was always competitive, whether it was just to kick around with my brothers or, you know, playing games, and not in the sense that I went into major competition or I did anything particularly like, you know, world changing in the world of football, but what I did, you know, was constantly be playing the game in a way that meant I want to win, you know, at all costs. And since I stopped, I think there might be some sort of yearning for that, you know. When I stopped playing football, I became less interested in it as a sport. I didn't follow it as much, and I'm not sure whether it was coincidental or not, but I got way more into MMA. Anybody who knows me, who will have seen me during watching a live event, or, you know, just watching like MMA videos, or even me speaking about it, will know how, you know, passionate I am about it. It's wild, it's crazy, and I love it so much. I love being an MMA fan. You know, but I think part of that might be that there is some kind of internal, like, visceral need for competition. You know, maybe I'm just making stuff up, but yeah, maybe that's why sports movies appeal to me so much, you know. If you got any that you like, feel free to recommend them in the comments. I need some more engagement, and obviously most of that engagement's got to come from me first, because I don't make many of these videos anymore. But it's a new season. It's an opportunity to change. I've got a new setup. I've got some candles in my room, because those fuckers at Halls wouldn't let me put candles in my room, and now I got gingerbread scented candles, and it's a nice setup. And yeah, I'm trying to think what else I can recount from my summer. I'm going to be putting out a montage at some point of my summer, and I feel like that will kind of be a better display of my experience than necessarily I can describe. But all I can say is that me being away gives me an ability to, like, connect with my family, remind myself of what's important in life, and just kind of forget about my life here. I mean, not in a rude way, but like sometimes I just do feel like I need to forget about my life here. I need to just cut myself away from the worries that occupy me, and just, you know, spend some time away from that. But yeah, I'm trying to fix my hair, despite the fact that you know, I'm choosing out to grow it long, because I'm like, yeah, I want to see what it's like to have long hair. And then as soon as it gets long, I'm like, this is so much hassle. I wake up and it's terrible, and I have to like shower and comb it just for it to be normal. And it's not even that bad, but I have a gut feeling that I would look cool with long hair. I've had loads of different short haircuts. You know, I've had buzz cuts. I had like a early 2000s footballer style mullet. Lots of different just variations, the short back and sides. You know, the classics. But I thought it'd be fun to get a long hair. And the funny thing is that the most difficult part is all you can do is wait. You know, if you want to get a new haircut and bleach your hair, you can, and it looks great most of the time. But if you want long hair and you don't have long hair, you either buy extensions or you wait a long ass time, and that's what it looks like I'm gonna do. And so I guess I can recount some of the experiences I've had just being here the last couple of weeks in this house. I've been working on my dissertation, steady researching. I've been, my dissertation is about Spanish filmmaker Pedro Almodóvar, and I read a really interesting book when I was researching for my dissertation proposal. And I guess this will be advice for anybody who writes a dissertation. I would just recommend research books about things that interest you in what you're going to study, And so I was reading books about Spanish cinema history and Spanish national history because I feel like it's part of world history that is neglected by, English education, global education, I think in general. But also it's particularly personal to me, I've got family members who were directly affected by it. My mum multiple times has recounted the fact that she remembers the day when Franco died, and she was 6 years old. And there's not many people in my life that I can speak to that are one generation, two generations. Maybe they actually were in the dictatorship themselves. It's just crazy to think about. And so I was researching their book. It was called Blood Cinema. Reconstruction of National Image Through Cinema, or something like that. And so I noticed that this book only went to a certain point in time because of when the book was written. And I focused on a certain film of Almodóvar, which is called Entre Tinieblas, or Dark Habits, which I don't think is the best translation, but who knows what will be a better one. In any case, I had particular interest in this film because of its position in time and the content of the film. And what I'm trying to do in this dissertation is I'm trying to argue that what the filmmaker does is that they don't just reflect society with their films, but they actually implement signs and structures into their film to kind of recreate a new image for society, or rebuild an image of the nation. And I guess I'll tell you in a couple months' time whether that came together in any positive way. But I am accruing a lot of positive research, stuff that matches what I want to be talking about, and I benefit a lot from the fact that Almodóvar is one of the most heavily studied filmmakers out of all of them, really, in terms of recent literature, which is great for me. I picked my dissertation topic knowing that, so I'm not saying that in a smug way. I'm just sometimes you can help yourself in ways that you wouldn't have expected. I'm struggling to fully idealize my graduate film. I want to make a short film, like a drama, and the idea that I've been working off is the last time two friends will ever see one another. And there's so many different ways that can go, and there's so many different permutations of what that could be that I've really been stumped. So I've just got to get cracking on that one. Got to do better. And yeah, I've just been chilling, watching films, enjoying stuff. Enjoying being here. It's nice to set my own routines. I've been getting back onto my physical exercise regime, and it feels good to be active and in a regular way and be conscious of your health and stuff. Because always in the summer I kind of let it go. You come back home and it's very comfortable and relaxing. My house, and the fridge is well stocked and there's bagels and yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as to say I pig out, but I definitely don't take as much precise care about my health when it comes to diet and exercise when I'm on holiday. And when that holiday ends up being months long, it gets out of control. But I try and balance it. I've got the metabolism of two tigers, in the sense that I could eat a lot and not put on weight. Alternatively, I could not eat a lot and still not lose much weight because I'm very thin. So I've got to take more ownership of eating well, because sometimes it doesn't get reflected in how I look. It's a blessing and a curse, because I'm trying to put on a little bit of muscle to fill out my frame and be better, more mobile and stuff. But putting on weight is extraordinarily difficult for me, and my appetite is waned since I was growing in height. So I remember the days when I was 16, 17, 18, and I was still growing when I was 16, I was below average height, and then suddenly when I was 18, I was much taller than most people. I remember during that time, I could put down three big bowls of my grandma's lentil soup like it was nothing, and I'd ask what's for second plate, Whereas now, I have 2 big meals in a day, and that third one's starting to look like a question rather than a certainty. So I've got to be a bit more disciplined and structured with what I do. Realistically, I've got like a few main meals that I stick to, and I alternate them a little bit, but I'm also just a bit of a creature of habit. Like, I like fried egg sandwiches, I like stir fries, I like wraps, I like veggie burgers, I like fish and chips. That's the kind of stuff I like, and I just kind of make it until I'm satisfied. I'm also a heavy snacker, so it's good to get fruit when I can. But yeah, so that's something else that's been going on. The Queen died, Personally, I don't really have many thoughts about it, other than it must suck where most of your personality and the way people see you is about your job. I wonder how much you really feel like you versus you feel like a public figure. I'm not sure you'd ever be able to know unless you're in that kind of position, especially because most of your job isn't even like work, it's just kind of like making appearances and stuff and greeting diplomats. I might be putting down her job a bit, but to be honest, they're extremely privileged and rich people, so I don't have the most sympathy for them, especially when you enact laws that mean that you don't have to hire ethnic minorities in the Buckingham Palace, and you pay to cover Prince Andrew's legal fees when he's very clearly a paedophile. And there's very easily accessible stuff on the internet in terms of the harm to the social, fabric that the monarchy has had. And, in my opinion, it's just a really good example, or it's a useful microcosm to kind of describe England as a country. Is that there is a group of people where simply because they are born into a certain family, they encounter immense privilege and they get treated especially, mostly because of their wealth and their kind of prestige, and they remain that way despite losing most of their power. They just hold on to their money and just accumulate wealth despite that, despite, in my opinion, not doing that much good to the people. So if you ask me, I'd like to get rid of the monarchy, but it's not really up to me. In any case, hopefully King Charles will do well, and we'll see about what happens with the money reprinting situation. And as I look forward, next week I start my course, and it'll be good to start getting my gears turning, being in an environment where I'm, encouraged and motivated to work and surrounded by my peers who are also doing the same. It's like when all the parts of the machine start moving, that's when we really cover some distance. And again, I'm reminded that I'm so lucky to study what I do. I genuinely love being a film student, and I'm always glad that I've been given the support by my parents and by my family. I'm aware that there's a lot of families where if somebody said they wanted to study film, that might be reached with some judgment or some apprehension or even lack of acceptance, but I've only ever had love and support and encouragement from all the people in my life, very much so by those of you watching right now. There's no better encouragement, there's no better reward than the support of the people you care about. I see a lot of quotes on the internet about filmmakers just making the film for themselves, and in an artistic sense, I understand, because you're trying to fulfill what you want to say, what you want to do, what kind of burning need you have within you to create something that represents whatever you're trying to represent. It needs to fulfill what you want to fulfill. However, I always, when I make something, I've always got in the back of my mind how fun it will be to show the people that I care about this project. What kind of things they'll say, how proud of me they are, and how positively they'll remark on it. And for those of whose opinion I trust a lot, I appreciate when they're critical. I appreciate when they tell me what doesn't work and what can be improved, and how we can do better next time. Because at the end of the day, that's the most important part, and that's something that I hope to carry across from being a film student into my daily life. The idea that when you're a film student on my course, you make a project and you look back, you go, well, this part worked, this part didn't. We need to look at this part and figure out how to make that better next time. And just a bit of self-assessment and reflection, and then improvement. with, you know, a secure enough sense of self that you can be like, I'm better than this, but this is still bad, you know, or this is still good. You have to kind of remove yourself a little bit from it sometimes. So, yeah, I guess I'll end this episode with another thank you for supporting me. Like, comment, subscribe, do all of those things. Tell a friend, share it to your family. I don't know. Do whatever you think would get more eyes on this video. And I would say just know that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just know that I care a lot about what you're doing, that I hope it goes well, no matter what. But yeah, I just realised I hadn't synced this. I'm just doing that to flex the autofocus of my camera. No, I'm joking. Anyway, love you lots. See you next episode.
The meat and my steamer is broke. Fuck the oblique, I'm peak of the soul. Peace never know what's about to occur, but my zen getting rolled at a turn of your words. Run out the meat and my steamer is broke. Fuck the oblique, I'm peak of the soul. Peace never know what's about to occur, but my zen getting rolled at a turn of your words.
What you on my head, what you that?